We have a green card lawsuit success story for you. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. The vast majority of the lawsuits that we file are for delayed immigration cases. So if someone's been waiting for their citizenship too long, their green card too long, their overseas visa too long, their asylum, whatever, those are the vast majority of lawsuits that we file. But we also, from time to time, file lawsuits when USCIS makes a big mistake. And I'm holding in my hand right here a copy of a lawsuit that we recently filed in the Central District of California, and I want to tell you all about it. So in this case, our clients were a married couple. They were a same-sex couple, and one of the people was from Canada and one of the people was from Europe. And the Canadian was in the United States on a TN, and the European spouse came to the United States on a visit visa, and then they got married, and then the European spouse filed for a TN2 visa, which allowed them to stay in the United States as the spouse of a TN visa holder. And our client had always maintained her status. Well, later on, the employer of the Canadian applied for a green card for her, and her spouse was able to apply for a green card as well. Now, when you file as a non-immediate relative, that is, if you're filing not as the spouse of a U.S. citizen, the parent of a U.S. citizen, or the underage child of a U.S. citizen, you have to be in status at the time that you file. If you don't have valid legal status at the time of filing for adjustment and you're not an immediate relative, then that is going to make you inadmissible and keep you from getting your green card. Now, as I mentioned, the European spouse had always maintained her status, didn't have a day without valid status in the United States. But despite this, USCIS decided to approve the I-140 employment application filed on behalf of the employer for the benefit of the Canadian worker. And they also approved the Canadian worker's green card. But they denied the European spouse's green card, saying that she had not maintained her valid immigration status from start to finish. This was a real head scratcher, and our clients were very upset. The European spouse received a really mean, nasty denial notice from USCIS that basically said, you need to get out of the country. And so their lawyer wasn't sure what to do, and that's how they found us. They actually found us through our YouTube channel, and I really enjoyed meeting them. Actually, the Canadian came on the show, and we talked about the situation, and then I had a private call with both of them, and I was so outraged at the erroneous decision reached by USCIS that I worked all weekend. It was Memorial Day weekend. I worked all weekend to get that lawsuit on file 2 days after they hired us. I really wanted to see how fast we could turn things around for this family. And we filed the lawsuit on May 30th, 2023. And 2 weeks later, we received word from the U.S. attorney. So after we served them copies of the lawsuit, they quickly reversed themselves and granted the green card to the European spouse. Now, lawsuits don't always work like that, and you can't always file a lawsuit to challenge wrong decisions by USCIS. As many of you know, if you watch my show or watch our videos or hang out in our Immigrant Home Facebook group, you know that USCIS makes mistakes all the time. We are very selective in when we file lawsuits to challenge an erroneous decision. In my book, it has to be a very, very clear error, because you're most likely not going to argue this out in front of the judge. What you're doing is you're trying to bring to the attention of a higher up person, of a higher level of analysis, of higher level thinking from lawyers for the agency, lawyers for the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Central District of California, or wherever you file the lawsuit. You're really trying to get someone to pay attention. You can't get them to pay attention on InfoPass. You can't get Emma to tell you the right answer. They could have, and I think they did in this case, file a motion to reopen or reconsider, but that would have taken months and months. And the client, in theory, was supposed to leave the United States, the European client. So we looked at this lawsuit as something that was going to fix it quickly or wasn't going to fix it at all. So we filed the lawsuit, and like I said, they didn't fight, they didn't hem and haw, they just reversed themselves, and they granted our client her green card. And that's what they should have done. The truth of the matter is our client shouldn't have had to pay us. They shouldn't have had to spend money on filing fees and lawyer fees to get this case resolved properly. But our clients were ecstatic. They were really, really happy that they were going to be able to stay together. The European spouse was then able to work and obviously stay in the United States. And in fact, she was going to be able to go back home to her home country and see her family for the first time in many years because of the work we did on Memorial Day weekend, because we worked so fast to get that lawsuit on file. So if you think you have a case in which USCIS has made a clear legal error, or if you're just suffering from long delays by USCIS and you want to hire our firm to either challenge that legal decision in court or to get them moving on a long delayed case, we'd be happy to help you. Feel free to give us a call at 314-961-8200. Email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. If you're just looking for free information, totally cool. I have an immigration answer show 3 or 4 times a week where I just answer people's questions. You can find out more about that by texting the word show to 314-470-3300. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel so that whenever we go live, you find that out. You can also join us in our Facebook group. It's a free group with thousands of immigrants called Immigrant Home. We'd love to have you in there. And then we also have our TikTok channel @Immigration Hacking. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.